Hi everyone, it's Jen from Wayneside. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Today is January 26th, 2026. It's been a while since we did a weekly update, and we fell a little behind because of quite a few things that fell into what I would call detriment. But basically, all you need to know is that we're getting back on track on here on Mind's Eye. So, as we said, I'm watching the news, I'm looking at the news, and I'm seeing it all fall into a part of like a play out to a degree. I mean, that's what I'm seeing as a psychic. It's early to say that I'm wrong, but I'm usually pretty confident when it comes to my psychic mediumship. Now, as I do it, like I'm just reading between the lines, I'm just like picking up on like words that pop out. It's like reviews and Fox and database and like mobilize and grouping, and there's something about IT that I like AI and like disturbance of the peace, and then disturbance of the peace, it goes down to your taxes, and like why are your taxes all the way down to the ground, and like they down to the ground, you're like I fell behind, and when they fell behind, like you actually can't even do. So then your groceries get behind, and then you're behind in your job, and then your home life, and then everything all falls apart. So when I actually look at it and I say, you actually can't even like do it at all, like people like shut down. So are we in a government shutdown? Are we in a pace out? Are we in anything? I feel like Caroline Levitt will like clear and clarify a few things. But we're really watching this storm. But going back to like how far back we really are, it really is something else. I think we really haven't done anything since August, and that's when something ran through the town that I was living in, and you just couldn't even end it. But there is something about trickery. There is something about like honorable to dishonorable to a formal review to normal inquiry to a probe and all of that. We're still trying to figure out on how like everything got maxed out and how everything got maxed out because this is quite the burden because we're in backlog. And because we're in backlog, everything is like, is this a trick? Is this a joke? Is this everything that we're supposed to be? Because I'm supposed to be paying attention and I'm supposed to be securing everything I need for my family and my realistic means. And then you get dinged because you didn't secure a retirement and you should have did that retirement. And then you say, am I the butt of the joke? Do you see what I'm saying? So when I see this, there has to do something with judicial, has to do with justice, has to do with legal and court of law, and there has to be something of like I keep hearing penance and like pentacle and like coins and coin toss to a game, but it's really not confirmed. I'm hearing it. It's really old, clear audience coming in. It is greedy and it had no logic, but it was like fur and like further through. Thought about like animals and cats and dogs and rabbits and snow and like snow report. And that's how it plays out. So it's happened before, especially in blizzards. And when I look at it and I see like a loss of money, a loss of opportunities, like you're like focused and further out on anything of that matter. And when I look at it, it's like during a time of rest, and like everything is like at rest. You understand? So when I see this, it's something about knowing the High Priestess card really comes in and talks about how like everything is like harder than usual. Like you gotta work your whole self, and you're sitting there disturbed and antsy, and you're like bouncing your leg. You're like you're trying to get in on something that to get some leeway or anything in that matter. But there is a little bit of hostage and deceival. Now, when I look at this, I say there is a new beginning. That came in August 18th last year. You definitely saw it on January 12th. And that came in on like a further out through. So when you actually like initiate everything that they want, you can't even do. You literally can't even do it. There's something about this railroad crossing right down the middle of the United States that really is like disturbing everyone. It is not as difficult with this 501s. You can't like get together and celebrate. You go counterintuitive and you're like, no, 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 I'm actually just going to go here and I'm going to go here. And they're like, is it counterintuitive or actually did you follow your intuition? So when I see this and I go, the Six of Pentacles comes in and I go, Knight of Wands, Nine of Cups. There's something of like no deal on the table. There's something about no paperwork, equal give and take. There's something about like a halt and like like heavy. There's balance. There's even keel, and you go, are you sure? Because I'm looking at Minneapolis right now, and they're a little upturd, as I would say. They literally are nasty in Minneapolis right now. Like you cannot actually contentment or content them after finding a pistol, someone deceased, and a daycare and a young child with the custody. I mean, they're really upset with us. I mean, after finding these marijuana factories, and I can't say, I mean, are these marijuana factories that we found with all these children in it? And I think some people forgot that already. As they're burning stuff in the street, I mean, that's not a peaceful protest. You cannot have weapons or hurt anyone in a peaceful protest. Just so you know, there's something about like they just got to do it because like this card came out and then this way and this way. It literally means like you have to. They just did it. They just did it. You couldn't believe it. You're like, well, it's my right, and I'm going to take a child, whether it's mine or not, and go, it's due to me. So when you say that and you go, it really was due, you can't even believe it. This Queen of Pentacles is about sitting honorably. It's about sitting nobly, like in their entitlement as like the world sees it in 2026. So when you see it in 2026, you can't even believe how like all knowing they were at that moment. So let's look a little bit further. Like, why is this? They're like, you just can't actually do it. What was it? Because I mean, I see this guy who was shot by this officer, and the officer actually did lose what we would call a digit, and a digit is a finger off. And I mean, it was straight out assault. Straight out assault. I'm seeing he was intoxicated. I'm seeing that he actually did something that was not very honorable, but I have to say it was a trolling to an honorable that he's supposed to stand in a court of law. So when I see the Two of Wands, I go, there's something like I'm seeing like this. I keep seeing that. Like, here you go. All right, just trying to see through the pictures. There's something about full knowing of what was going on in Minneapolis, and people are upset that it was disrupted. They were doing it on their own. That's a really bad sign in the communities that people were doing things on their own. Highly dictative, highly sourceful on what they need. So we stop right there because you have to prove it in a court of law. You've got to use everything about it. I mean, that's what I'm seeing as a psychic with the energy. There's something of like smooth waters and like smooth detail. And it didn't matter what the courts were saying, what the paperwork was. So you could have like a protective order and a civil protection order. and a restraining order. Like some people have had that, but they can go about and they can encounter that person that they put the restraining order onto. And then they're like, no, I'm entitled. I can come towards you. And you go, it doesn't match. So then when law enforcement shows up, or legal or judicial, you go, no, or they're mandated to these like stipulations that actually don't match income. They don't fit the bill. They don't match the reform for the person who was arrested. It's really, really odd. So it has to do with a form of securement because it was like ripped and taken away, like done. When I look at this and I go, the Ten of Wands goes, no, like there's something that makes them elated when they do this. Deceitful? Absolutely. At this point, it's almost like to the point of commentary. Observancy. Now, as we're still catching up, like right up to Christmas, like it was like settling in. It came in on through, it was easy, but it slammed. And you didn't know why. It definitely was a snuff out. When I see this light of the world, it was like to end something. I don't see cover up. I don't see conspiracy. I don't see a full on nastiness, but it did kind of break open a couple of books that I'm saying for like politicians and anything in law enforcement, military, and kind of reviewing like what is going on. So when I see this, like they were running like high on high, like I'm good, I'm feeling great, and I'm doing this. And it went to Christmas, they're like, no, I'm fine. And now they're looking, they're like, I'm not okay again. The spring and the autumn again. You can't even let you need to know on this weekly update. Now that we're kind of all caught up. And it didn't really take hard. Not much wants to come out. Here we go. Okay, so there is like imbalance of energies, and I said anyone who's sensitive to storms or anything like that, just like watch your step. And anyway, it's really not a game or a match or anything like that. You just have to be careful. There's really no playing it or looking into it. There's stumping like stumping, like tree stump. Something about stumping. I'm seeing Bambi and Thumper. I'm seeing like obstruction, obstructions. There's something that's like heavily guarded. When I see this and I see the Akashic field, something about the stars, the constellation grid. There's something like alignments of stars and moons and planets that are coming in that are like really, 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 really hard. Really hard. It's gonna make everything funny. You can't even make it up. When I see the lookout, fire toss, fire cross. When I see this and I see Archangel Michael, when I see the Oracle of Delphi, something came to and through it for it. When I see this and I see up in the air, I go, like, there's something about like a nose piercing. Like, you can't actually like make that up. Like a coin toss. Buddha prepares in reverse. Like, you can't actually measure it. So it's kind of odd. It is kind of odd. When I see this and I see add some, you actually can't even do. Can't even do. All right. There's something about like abruptly and like love. There's something about like nastiness. There's something about like everything. When I see this and I see Vision, I see Lantern. When I see Cat, Unteam Venture, not really hunting it out. When I see Bravery, when I see Power, when I see Endurance, grotesque humor, like for fun. So what do we need to know about this weekly update? It basically is coming in with like words. When I see like it's happened before in a storm, like you've got to be devoted to clearing. There's obstructions in the road. They're really good at it. There's something of creativity. It was definitely creative. Something about trying to get out on something. There's something about freedom. There's something about liberation. There's something about entitlement. I can't even. There's something about like senses, hunger. You can't even. Transitions, reality, and grief. But when I see this and I go, there's something too and hard on it about loss. Like everyone has lost something in the American public. So when I say it's about keeping up with the Joneses and money, complacency, and status, that is like coming on through. So when we talk about there's obstructions to obstruction of justice to anything that matter, but you can't prove obstruction of justice and you can't actually prove it down to where you need like a licensure so you can make moonshine. You have to say you couldn't even believe how it is. So I mean that is like coming in this week. But I really do see it harder than usual. Much harder than usual. But I mean when you can't actually prove it and you can't even see it and it goes all the way around the circuit to the circuit breaker, you go, we're watching the grid. That's normal because it was a storm. So that is it. Like I feel like this week is about nuances, about what actually is like in their backlog. There's something about wealth. There's something about the joy. Like they still are doing okay. Like we've talked about, like how are they literally going to two different countries on one income? So when I see it and I go, you got to take a drive out and you go, there it's not a hidden game, but it is a hidden game and it really isn't. And it caused like an ongoing freeze and it's about luck. And you see living and you go, you can't even buy into it. There's about night. There's about everything. Torch, like a tiki torch. Were we invited? Again, it keeps coming out. Were we not invited to this party? So then you talk about, here it is, there it is, there it is. I bet you any money is like I keep saying this with Nick Reiner about inheritance. So let's ask, did he actually get upset about like inheritance? Because there's something about him being on his own. So the energy is strong. There was something about like a birth in the family. It came in strong. Like this was like love, absolute love. So when it actually goes through and like they gave a gift because the baby was born, When you do this, you do like collecting, like normal, just normal. I mean, they probably had a baby shower or anything, but it kind of like ashed the issue. It caused a little bit of havoc. I see bitter on the tongue. I see a little bit of like, well, they already have money. Like, why are you giving a gift? Because it's good luck for the family. It's securement. So when I look at it and I go, like, you go about and you go around, and then people are defensive because family members can get bitter over certain things. Again, it's talking about luck. Did someone have more luck than him at that moment? Now, what I would see that he would probably be a little bit more bipolar schizophrenic. There's something about his eyes, there's something about his nose, there's something about his mouth. But why would his attorney, Alan Jackson, who represented Karen Read, say that there's no more? Because these rooms don't want to talk about it anymore. I can feel it. I mean, it's not trending to a Trendelenburg, because that's what I'm hearing right now in clairaudience. And you try to sue, but you can't sue because there's no evidence proof. And then you look, you're like, well, you came in intoxicated. That's pretty common. Why not that? So when I actually look at it, and I'm not really seeing a devil's advocate. There was a death. Someone did die. When I see eagle and I see rabbit, there's something patriotic about it. Moving on down. It didn't really go south, but it went west and east to north and stopped south on Ray-Bans. So he was at the convenience store. He was walking around. It's really odd for celebrities to be alone. When I see this and I see tarantula, I couldn't even see what was coming. There was something about mastery and strength. There was something about, like, when you see this dragon, I'm seeing like desert. And when I see raccoon, it's not, Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not Alien or anything or Oddities. There's something about when I see this, I see fishing. I'm seeing like sand dollar, like that's all he had, pennies to a dollar, like probably dumpster diving. And when I see gazelle and I see horse, I go, there's something odd, all the way down to like dental work. I mean, he's probably getting a workout. Now, when I look at it and I go, you're going to have to actually set this and set it all the way around. Scorpio. Oh, there it is. I came right out. Atlantic. Something about oil spill, something about oil rig, something about the ocean. All right, Virginia Democrats propose sentencing shift for felons. On what way to obey? And spell bay. Because we're not domestics, which is high-end prostitutions. Now, when you see this, there's something about taking chances to the bullseye. We couldn't do. Let's talk about that, because I feel that that's related to Nick Reiner right now, where attorney Alan Jackson does not want to touch this. But I do feel that he did the best that he could in his jurisdiction in California, because, attorneys can have multiple licensures in different areas. There's something like common language. There's something about common math. There's something about common like jurisdiction. There's like, it all comes out. Do you can reject? So when you see galactic cord, like it's already within, like they already know it. So which way and form are they showing up? Because it came in as star royalty, and it like had like an escalate through an escalation jump, so a timeline jump. And when I look at it and I see the sound codecs and I see the crystalline grids, I go, you can't even believe it when you see transmission, when you see portals, when you see universal heart. There was something about an opportunity was opening up to be at rest, to be at bay, proper and honor. I mean, that's what I was saying. But one more, there's something about a game. There's something about like, please forgive me, like righting a wrong, uprooting. I don't hear transgressions. It's not that religious. That's all coming through this week, I can say as a psychic. When I see this, it's not good. It's not good. Oh, this one did not want to come through. There we go. There's something about like rock bottom with Nick Reiner. There's something about like crossing a boundary with legal and judicial. There's something about like isolation and community. There's something, the reason why they wear those vests, so they're like not popping out of their skin and like talking and like losing their rights in a court of law, and like helping them settle. It's almost like it's like a security vest, almost like a weighted blanket. So something actually like correct out, like, do they have damages? So damages are actually when someone is arrested and they're in a holding cell and they're doing questioning and interrogation and they get injured, whoever got arrested. That's called damages. That means just like a hospital, like a wound acquired or like infection acquired, they have to own that. They have to pay for it. So law enforcement is very aware. It happens all the time. So that's why they're insured to the best, to the Hilton. So when you see this and you go, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict, they're going to say, is there a delay in care in that? Because literally, you can't even believe how that was like really bad. Again, three times this card came out: isolation, physical connection, and community. Now, coping mechanisms, density, addiction, like Gandhi, you can't actually prove that he truly was intoxicated upon arrest. There could have been a history. There might have been a history. There could be like see through it, especially who his parents are and the time that they lived through. But when I actually look through it, I go, you couldn't actually see it. Now, tarot is sacred kingdoms. What do we need to know? There's something about like confirm, like you have to set, like you literally have to set. You can't even do it hard. Then they say, well, they fell, they were shackled, but let's see. Now, there's something about like an offering and like discontented. That's the Four of Cups. And then when you see this, there's no communication. And then when you see this, it was like an equal give and take to the offering to represent. When you see the six of cords, you can't even believe it. Like it's like rope. I'm here maritime law. There's something about him in maritime law. Now when I look at it, Seven of Cups, it like options opened up. So maybe like he wasn't like no longer the best fit for Attorney Jackson, which is okay. You want the best to represent you. Here you go. When you see this, you go 32, 21. There's something about actually the Midwest. I'm seeing Skinwalker Ranch with Nick Reiner. Something paranormal. That's where it wants us to stop. Like right there. It is a little patriotic. It is religious. It is like old time matter and getting together. So there's like the opening of the key, like sitting and like talking, like mediumship. And then when you see it, like you go like all of a sudden like, why am I at Gillette's Castle? You can't even believe that. So how else? I feel like by Wednesday you're actually talking about it. Okay, where else is this? Let's go to Black Obsidian Ruins. All right, again, hidden game. You go, it just comes running right through. It's a gift all of a sudden. And you go, I did not feel that. So Pope Leo, the 14th, is saying chatbots can distort human emotions. Excuse me if I say it wrong. I have to say it is a play on emotions, and that is why they're watching AI like really, really hard. There's something about power. There's something about like strength. There's something about like warrior. Like they'll shut it down with a bleep. It's sheepish. Like going down. Like sinking. Ah, ah. It is heritage and culture in the state. When you see this, you go, you couldn't even believe it. I'm seeing ash tree, birch tree, oak tree, pine tree. Something born in the trees, birth in the trees. Monkey see, monkey do, havoc. When you see this, you see defensive. And you go, there's something about like eyes, something about eyes. So let's talk about the Masons, because that came in on through. There we go. Again, Peach Moonstone runes. When you see this, you go, there's something about the warrior. There's something about closing a broken, faded rune. I feel like it was nasty. Somebody would like I keep saying, they'll talk about more about like half elves and McCoys. Like, where is this coming out of? To the point I'm repeat and repeat on this one. There was a gift. I was seeing a scene of like Lucille Ball. I love Lucy. Here comes Ethel, and she's like sitting there like, hi, guess what I got? And you go, it came in strong. Oh yeah, it like happens overnight. Like all of a sudden you wake up and you're like, you won't believe who was doing this. That's all those want to say. I'll go to the White Sage Tarot. There we go. Again, like I'm looking at this message, if anyone is on like Telegram and stuff like that, from Mr. Poole, like he's still around. I'm seeing quite a few of those individuals that are talking about this. It's all aboard, buckle up, hands and feet inside. Let me see what it says here. Hands and feet inside the cabin. A ride won't take long. One-way ticket. There's something about a cruise. Something about a cruise. What cruise do we need to know this week? Like it was a gift, and like you couldn't even believe how you like obtained that gift. It is like somebody had passed away and they went on vacation. It is a man. It is a masculine energy. It was like it was a soul ending. I'm seeing chronic illness. I'm seeing uh, not of the best of senses. I'm seeing like sore throat, like blocked up senses with this individual who passed away somewhere between September 9th and like in a February. In a February. In February, I'm seeing like, ooh, there's like, I'm seeing hospice. I'm seeing like dry. I'm seeing people like take care. I'm seeing like Nine of Cups. I'm seeing like the females in the family taking care of him. And I'm seeing the King of Swords. There's something like judicial, like a gift, like banded together law enforcement. When I see this, I see the Two of Pentacles. I'm seeing the Eight of Cups. They saw everything fall over. So it looks really like ill and nasty, but they're like, no, it really is a gift. You don't understand. And that's when it comes on through on how much like a little task that's coming in for quite a few people this week. Again, it was like a sharp ending. Sharp. When you see the Nine of Wands and you see the King of Cups in reverse to Two of Cups, there was a working together, like no attunement, no alignment to falls. When I see the Eight of Pentacles again, just kind of closing out, there really is like looking out more for politics this week, looking out for like justice, about obstacles, about clearing the way, about money and portfolio. I'm hearing IRA, I'm hearing retirement securement, I'm hearing college, I'm hearing grass, green, blue, yellow, gold. Then it goes like look at the cars, the salt, and then you look at politics, you look at the news again, and you're like, I mean, there really isn't anything else going on. Like I said, it's not fear mongering or warmongering. But when you look at this Eight of Pentacles in reverse, something about cash out to cash out. And that's really all you need to know. So with that being said, we are going to close it out for this week on this. Any questions or concerns, leave a like, a comment, a share. It's greatly appreciated, and we'll talk to you soon.